When Sony stamps ES on the front of any of their products, you know they mean business. ES is short for Elevated Standard, which is exactly what Sony has managed to do yet again with their 2017 lineup of ES receivers. The new ES receiver lineup redefines the level of features, performance, and warranty expectations in their category. In this video, we'll quickly touch on some of the features they share in common, as well as the differences as you move up the line. Perhaps most importantly, we'll talk about the ideal customer for each model, helping you to determine which is the best fit for your room and home theater system. For a more detailed review, visit our written review on audioadvice.com. The links are in the description. All right, let's get to it. First, let's start with what they all have in common. For the past 2 decades, all Sony ES products have been backed with an industry-leading full 5-year parts and labor warranty. They have great faith in their products, and the build quality is simply top-notch. The entire lineup also features Dolby Atmos surround sound processing. If you're in the market for a new home theater receiver, Dolby Atmos is a must. In addition, all of the new Sony ES receivers can pass HDR or high dynamic range, along with full 4K. In fact, they can even upconvert non-4K signals to 4K resolution through any of their HDMI inputs. Finally, all of the new ES receivers come with Sony's new room correction technology. A special stereo microphone is included, and a simple setup will walk you through the necessary steps to make sure your new receiver performs at its peak, no matter the room. Now let's dig into each model one by one. We'll start with the STRV810ES, the entry model of the ES lineup. If you never plan on having more than 7 channels, the 810 could be a good option for you. You can configure the system in 5.1, 7.1, or 5.1.2 Dolby Atmos, with each channel rated at 100 watts. If you set it up in 5.1, you can also use the remaining 2 channels for another zone. The 810 is more than just a great home theater receiver. It can also connect to all of your favorite streaming services via AirPlay, Google Chromecast, Spotify Connect, or Bluetooth. The 810 is the lightest of the bunch, weighing in at 20 pounds, but it still manages to include real output transistors like you would find in high-end separate power amps. It can easily drive most moderately efficient speakers. When you consider what you get at a $799 price tag, the 810 is a real bargain for the right person. Next up is the STRZA1100ES. This is one of our favorite receivers, and probably the best value in the entire lineup. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this one, because we already have a full review on our YouTube channel and at audioadvice.com. The 1100 strips out the streaming and Bluetooth features and gives you one less HDMI input. But with a much beefier amplifier section, it weighs in a full 7 pounds heavier. In a nutshell, you lose a few bells and whistles, but more than make up for it in sonic performance. In fact, the quality you get for less than $1,000 is just ridiculous. For more info, check out our 1100ES video review. The next model up is the 2100ES. All in all, very similar to the 1100, but it has more outputs for Dolby Atmos and other object-based surround formats. All of the video, digital, and zoning ins and outs are identical. With the 2100, you have 7 amplified channels with pre-outs for 2 more. So, if you added a power amp, you could do 7.1.2 or 5.1.4. When you move up to the next receiver, the 3100ES, you get a much more solid upgrade path. Like the 2100, the 3100 can decode up to 9 channels of object-based surround, but it adds a full bank of preamp outputs for every single one of its channels. This is for the home theater enthusiast who is looking to start out with a receiver, but has aspirations of getting better sound down the road by adding higher performance amps. On its own, the 3100 sounds very similar to the previous 2 models we discussed, but it allows you more options in the future. It's also the first model in the ES lineup to include an 8-port gigabit Ethernet switch. This should help eliminate an additional component in your rack. Now we've come to the Sony flagship, the STRZA5000ES. First is a solid 8 pounds heavier than the 3100ES, which should tell you something. It's got a massive power supply and amp section. 2 more channels of amps are added to the 5000ES, giving it 9 powered channels rated at 130 watts per channel. Plus, it adds the full 11 channels of object-based decoding on board, the maximum for home use. Oh yeah, and it's got 1 additional HDMI input. Use this with your high-performance speakers and turntable, and you'll love its warmth. Switch to a Dolby Atmos movie, and you'll have trouble not grinning ear to ear when you experience how well it decodes and places objects in space. While the 5000ES isn't cheap, it should give you years of great sound and enable you to do whatever you wish from an upgrade standpoint. I hope this has helped you sort through the 2017 Sony ES receiver lineup. No matter your circumstances, one of these receivers would be a great option. If you need more help determining which receiver is going to be the best fit for you, feel free to reach out, whether it's by chat, phone, email, or stop into our Raleigh or Charlotte showrooms, and we'll be more than happy to help. Links to the entire Sony ES lineup are in the description. And don't forget, you can get it right away with our free 2-day shipping. As always, if you liked this video or found it useful, go ahead and like it and subscribe to our channel. And you can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and audioadvice.com. Thanks again for watching.